All right, so today we're going to look at using mental math. That's basically multiplying by zeros. And we talked about yesterday how every time we multiply by 0, the answer is 0, right? So with this mental math here, like number 1, because I'm multiplying 80 times 7, I really only have to look at the 8 and the 7. Okay, and I'm going to multiply 7 times 8. And that is 56. And then I have 1 0 here, so I have 1 0 in my answer. Number 2 is 900 times 4. I'm only going to multiply 9 and 4. Okay, and 9 times 4 is 36. And because I have 2 zeros, I'm going to add 2 zeros in my answer. 3,600. Okay, number 3, 2,000 times 8. I'm only going to look at 2 times 8, and that is 16. And then I have 3 zeros, so I'm going to add 3 zeros to my answer. Okay, are you noticing that however many zeros I have in the problem, that's how many zeros I put in my answer, as long as the zeros are at the end. Okay, 6,000 times 9, number 4. I'm going to look at 9 times 6. Okay, 9 times 6 is 54. And then I have 3 zeros, so I'm going to put 3 zeros in my answer. Number 5 is 5,000 times 8, so I'm going to multiply 5 times 8, which is 40. And then I'm going to add 3 extra zeros. 1, 2, 3. So that makes my answer 40,000. Okay, all you're doing is multiplying by the non-zero number and then adding zeros. That's it. Okay, let's look at number 6. Let me clear this real quick. Okay, number 6, 3 times 400. Well, using your mental math, you're going to multiply 3 times 4, which is 12, and then add 2 zeros. Okay, number 7, it says blank times 4 equals 160. So because I have a 0 here, that's the 0 that's in 160. So all I need to know is what times 4 equals 16. Okay, 4. 4 times 4 is 16, and add a 0. Okay, y'all see that? 4 times 4 is 16, and then this is the 0 we added. All right, number 8, 70 times 6. So 7 times 6 is 42, and I have 1 0. Okay, 500 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. And then I have 2 more zeros here, so I'm going to add 2 zeros to my answer. 3,000. Okay, now the next one says 9 times blank equals 5,400. So we need to look. 9 times what number is going to give you 54? Forget the zeros for a minute. I want you to think about that. 9 times what equals 54? Okay. All right, that'd be 9 times 6, right? 9 times 6 is 54, but then it has 2 zeros here. So I need to add 2 zeros to my problem. 9 times 600. 9 times 6 is 54, and then add the 2 zeros. Okay, all right, last one. What times 70 equals 560? So here's my 0 here, and we carried it here. So I only need to know what times 7 equals 56. Right, it'd be 8. 8 times 7 is 56. Add a 0. Okay, clear that. Next section says multiply each number by 10, 100, or 1,000. Well, that's super easy because 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 100 would be 6 times 1 is 6. Add 2 zeros. 6 times 1,000, 6 times 1 would be 6. Add 3 zeros. So I want you to answer, what would my 3 answers be for 3 times 10, 100, and 1,000? Okay, what would my 3 answers be for 7 times 10, 100, and 1,000? And finally, what would my answers be for 5 times 10, 100, and 1,000? Use the example from number 12 to help you solve the problems. Okay. All right, let's clear that. All right, the last couple of problems are just a mixed practice, things that you should already have looked over and learned. Number 16, how many more miles in all did Bernard drive than George? So you're using this table right here to answer the questions. So understanding the question is, how many more miles did Bernard drive than George? Okay. The problem is, how many more miles did Bernard drive than George? So you're going to look at all the miles George drove, all the miles Bernard drove, and it says how many more, so you have to think, what application are we going to do to solve the problem? Okay. Number 17 says, on which day was the greatest number of miles driven? So use your table to tell me on what day was the greatest number of miles driven. On which day? Now, it does not say which person drove the most miles. It says which day. So you're going to have to do something to each one of these columns. Okay? You're going to have to do something to each column to find out which day was the greatest number of miles driven. Okay? And finally, number 18 is just a logical reasoning activity. So, when completed, the magic square will have the digits 1 through 9. Each row, each column, and each diagonal will have the sum of 15. Sum meaning add, right? Okay, fill in the missing digits to complete the square. All right, so what I want you to do on this problem, and hopefully you've listened all the way to the end to this Edpuzzle, I want you to draw this on your scratch paper, and then I want you to take a picture and attach it to your Google Classroom assignment for this Edpuzzle. Okay? If you're not sure how to do that, you can, if you're virtual, take a picture of it and send it to me in a text through my email. Okay, RochelleK@GoBearsGo.net. If you are in face-to-face, you can bring it up and show me. Okay? All right. Have a good day.